This is the Dodgers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Well, that was ugly, not fun, and time to turn the page. Let's move on to game two. I don't really know where to start. I mean, there's a lot of ugly in that one, a lot of bad, and I'm surprised by this comment from big time Dodger fan, regular here on the show, Nando. Series over, Blue Jays want it more. Wow, Nando, way to just abandon your team. Way to just jump right off the bandwagon. Leave them hanging. Yeah, that was not fun. But, you know, of course, the Blue Jays are rolling. They got a lot of momentum, and they seem like right now, like they are unbeatable, and they do want it more. They are good at home. That home field advantage there at the Rogers Center is second to none. They have 54 wins at home this year, so that's tough. And you know the stat that scared me and still does, when a team sweeps and faces a team that went 7, the team that won 7 has won the World Series 5 times in a row. So that is there's something there. Momentum more than likely. Look, the Jays had time off too. The Dodgers had a little bit more time off, a few days. I don't know that you can put a whole lot into that. It's definitely something, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it and say the series is over because the Dodgers swept the Brewers and the Jays and Mariners went 7. The Dodgers played pretty poorly tonight. There's 2 things you can circle and say this is why they lost the game. And I will put this at the top of the list. When you look back at this series against the Brewers, the Dodgers did not score a ton of runs. They won those 4 games with fantastic pitching. And going into this series, when I was on talking about the Dodgers on other shows, being interviewed or adding my 2 cents, I of course mentioned the stat about a team that sweeps versus a team that goes 7, but I also mentioned the fact that good pitching beats good hitting most of the time. I'm not willing to say the Dodgers are out of it because I still think their pitching is better. I don't know how much better, but it's definitely better. But let's look at the amount of runs the Dodgers scored. 2, 5, 3, and 5 against the Brewers. And the last one was with Shohei Ohtani hitting 3 home runs. So they have not been red hot at the plate. They have not been putting up a ton of runs. That has got to change. You cannot, and I cannot emphasize this enough, this needs to be surrounded with F's and S's, but I obviously I'm not going to do that because the people that Locked On have asked me not to cuss, but that's what I'm saying in my head. First inning, Kike knocks in a run, slider over the middle of the plate. 12th hit this postseason, a 306 average at that point, and a 702 OPS. He's red hot. Didn't do anything else the rest of the night. But the Dodgers had the bases loaded with 1 out. Let me say it again. The bases loaded with 1 out, which is fewer than 2 outs. Andy Pages, who has been utterly abysmal, strikes out in an awful way on a bad pitch out of the zone. And I heard Joe and what's his name? Former Atlanta Brave guy, who I like, and most people hate. I'm not trying to dismiss him. I really do like him as a broadcaster. I'm just drawing a blank on his name. Tom Glavine. Or Smoltzy, sorry. Glavine, Smoltz, same thing, right? One's a lefty, one's a righty. Smoltzy's fantastic. But they were both saying that the Dodgers did not swing at a pitch out of the zone for like 3 innings. I was like, what game are you watching? The pitch that Pages swung at to strike out with a runner at third base, bases loaded and 1 out, was bouncing practically. I don't know how you think that was a strike, but according to some AI computer, I guess they said that's a strike. Wrong. That was a ball. So bad at bat from Andy Pages. We shouldn't really be surprised. He's 0 for after that at bat. 0 for 11 with Risp this postseason. Just awful. His batting average is like 70 something, just worthless. But I don't know that they have another option. Call, I guess, is the other option. But yeah, that was awful. And then Shohei Ohtani grounds into a weak ground ball out. So Shohei Ohtani, yeah, he hit a home run. Save it. I don't care. That was after after a 9-run inning, and you're down 9 runs. It was 11-2 at that point. So what? We're not paying you all that money to hit meaningless home runs. You have to get big hits in big moments, right? Be your best when your best is needed, not when it doesn't matter, when the game is over and you've given up 9 and the game is out of control. So grounding into a play, right, an easy out right there, leaving runners on base, missed opportunity. They had Yasavich up against the ropes and they let him out twice in the first inning and again in the third. Back-to-back walks, Mookie and Freddie. Will Smith poked one to right, through the right side. RBI, 2-0 Dodgers, and that was it. Another huge missed opportunity. You leaving way too much meat on the bone. That is not going to get it done. And back to Nando's point at the start, the Jays wanted it more? Yes. It feels like it after that. Swinging at bad pitches, going up there with no approach, striking out way too much is just not good enough. So if the Dodgers want to win this World Series, they better change everything at the plate. Everything. You got to be more clutch. You got to be more selective. You got to put the ball in play more. You cannot afford to strike out that much with runners in scoring position. You just can't. Now, they put a lot of pressure on Blake Snell, and I thought Blake Snell was okay, right? It wasn't the last time we saw Blake Snell by any stretch of the imagination. He was charged with 5 runs. 3 of those, this is one of the rules in baseball that I absolutely hate. Snell got him on base, but Sheehan gave up the hits that scored the runs, which are then charged to Blake Snell. Okay, that's the rule. I don't love it, but that's the way it goes. But Snell gave up 2 runs. 5, if you look at the box score. He only struck out 4, walked 3. The walks did get him into trouble. So, and to lead off the inning a couple of times, you can't do that. It's just not good enough against this team that is very, very disciplined and selective. It's not good enough. So he gave up 8 hits in all. That is a lot for him. So Sheehan came in and seemed to be okay. I don't know that Sheehan was overwhelmed by the moment, but it was not good enough. Yeah. I mean, it's like bases loaded, no out. It's a tough spot for that guy. He's still a youngster when you get down to it. And then Bonda was terrible. I mean, that pitch to Barger for the grand slam, or that at bat. Let's get into that a little bit. Slider down and away, slider down and in, like bouncing way out of the strike zone. Terrible pitches. Then he threw a sinker that was kind of around the zone, and then back to the slider over the middle of the strike zone. Basically, it did nothing. So your slider is down and away, down and in, bouncing off the dirt, and you're going to go back to it. I guess it's been a good pitch for him. So he can't groove fastballs, and I don't know that he has a fourth pitch really. Slider, sinker. He's not throwing a sweeper. So I don't know that he has any other options. So Bonda just didn't have it tonight. So, that's a tough one. And then the home run to Varsho, which tied the game, was the fastball up. I mean, Blake Snell really made very few really bad pitches, but that was one. He just grooved a fastball right down Main Street, and Varsho was all over it. You think about the hit that Kirk got on base with right before the Varsho home run. It was a squib. It wasn't a good, but that's what Kirk does, right? He just puts the ball in play. So Dodgers need to strike out a whole lot less, and 13 versus 4. Dodgers struck out 13 times versus 4. We can end the show right there. If you need a reason why the Dodgers lost, we could end the show right there. You got to be better. 13 strikeouts. I need a break. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. The place to hang out when every game is done. Don't forget to check out the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast Monday through Friday with Travis Rogers, an in-depth look as to what is going on in the Dodger universe. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast brought to you by Rougiette. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. Just stress. I'm tired. We've all heard them before. That's a weird thing to say because I hope there are women here, but I'm going to assume that most of you are listening are men. Women aren't making those excuses. Men are. I think they need to adjust that line of the script. Something to the effect of, we've all used these excuses before. That's fair. I have. I'm not, this doesn't normally happen. It was a long week. I drank too much. Happens to everyone. Well, when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. It's, if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door, so you don't even have to go to a doctor. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. Visit Rougiette.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB, and you'll get 15% off your first order. RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB, and don't forget to use your code LockedOnMLB so they know we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. Tonight's episode also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you really don't want to miss if you want to make the action a little bit more fun. Whether it's football, World Series baseball, whether it's NBA season just underway, hockey, putting action on it always makes it a little bit more entertaining. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Go to FanDuel.com to get it done. That's FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app and get started. Dodgers get whooped tonight north of the border in Toronto at the Rogers Center, 11-4 the final. Another sort of silver lining, if you will, for me. I look, the Dodgers did fine against the Jays this regular season. They should have swept them at Dodger Stadium, and the Jays really didn't have a whole lot to say or do in that series. They did win the finale, and that was the start of a really bad streak for the Dodgers. But all that being said, that's a long time ago. Two different teams, very meaningless as to what is happening right now. But a bigger thing is you look at tonight's game. Do we think, I know Jays fans are like, hell yeah, but do we think that the Jays are going to put up 9 runs again in one frame? I don't. Could the Dodgers put up 9 runs in a frame? Absolutely. So Yamamoto is a heck of a good pitcher. Went out last time and pitched a complete game. And Yamamoto has been pretty locked in his last few times out. Gausman, also pretty good pitcher. Good numbers this year. The Jays ace, if you will. I can't get past Gausman from like 3 or 4 years ago where he was on the Baltimore Orioles and lost like 15 games and only won 2. I was like, how does that guy's career continue? Well, it has, unfortunately for us, because he's been very good for the Jays. Here are the numbers that we'll be looking at tomorrow. Both of them 2-1 this postseason. Yamamoto lost this postseason, really? Yamamoto a 1.83 ERA, Gausman a 2.0 ERA. The WHIP for Yamamoto 0.86, Gausman 1.06. 19 innings for Yamamoto, 19.2 versus 18 for Gausman. They have both given up double-digit hits. Gausman 10 and Yamamoto 13. 18 Ks for Yamamoto, 12 for Gausman. A lot more walks for Kevin Gausman. 9 versus just 4 for Yamamoto. So if the Dodgers can go up there with some sort of approach and discipline, they can get on base because this guy likes to walk people. Okay, I mean, he doesn't like it, but he's capable. So it is out there for the Dodgers, and they both surrendered 2 home runs. So at the end of the day, the pitching matchup really is in favor of the Dodgers tomorrow, as it was tonight, though, but not dramatically. So the Dodgers just have to go up with a better approach. And another thing that I take away from this type of game, I said it somewhere, maybe it was in a text to my Dodger friends, that I would much rather lose like this than 3-2 because Blake Trinan came in and walked in a run. This is easier to turn the page on. This is easier to say, well, it happens. That's baseball. And it, more than anything, it's a wake-up call. I'm sorry, that's a cliche, but it is. If you think the Dodgers are in there going, no big deal, we got our ass kicked, they're not. They know that this this Blue Jays team can kick their ass like this every night. And the Dodger leaders, hopefully Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, are in there having a talk, right? Sharing some gospel. I don't know. Yelling and screaming, throwing things. Like, this is not good enough for this team. If we want to win back-to-back World Series, we cannot play like this. We cannot perform in this manner. We cannot leave that many runners on base. We cannot strike out 13 times. We have to have a better attitude and a better approach at the plate. And we just have to come with a chip on our shoulder and make them remember that we are still the champions until this is over. That's what needs to happen. So I know Mookie's the leader. I know Freddie's the leader. Kersh is still there. I'm sure Kersh is not happy about this, even though he didn't play. So they just need more. Teo can maybe come in with his jovial, lighthearted attitude that is like, better to get beat by 9 than, not 9, 7. Better to get beat by 7 than 1, or something to that effect. I don't know. Lighten the mood maybe, but at this point, I'm hoping, and I know it's a cliche, but I'm hoping that it is a wake-up call. I know for the Chargers, different sport, I get it, but I cover the Chargers as well here for Locked On, and the Chargers on Sunday last week got their ass handed to them by the Indianapolis Colts, and they came out and beat the heck out of the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. Completely different scenario, but at the same time, those things do tend to kind of jerk a knot in your tail, splash water in your face, and wake you up a little bit. The fact that the Dodgers had a few extra days off because they swept the Brewers and the Jays went to 7, sure, maybe they're rolling a little bit. But we could also say maybe this gives the Jays a tad bit too much confidence. We can beat them like no problem. The confidence that all of the reporting world, the pundits, if you will, had for the Dodgers, going to sweep, going to win in 5. I don't go down that road, and I by no means thought this Blue Jays team was going to be a pushover. I'm hoping for a Dodger win. I don't care if it's in 4 or 7. That's what it's obviously not going to be in 4, 5 or 7. I don't think it's going to be in 5 either. So probably we'll be back in Toronto, but you never know. The Dodgers could flip a switch tomorrow. We would not be the least bit surprised if they came out and hung a 9 spot on the Jays and win comfortably going away tomorrow. So that's the mantra for tonight. Turn the page. This is a wake-up call, and we need to come back and just be better. Fewer strikeouts, more aggressive at the plate, and just better approaches, being more selective, right? Like the Jays. It's screaming at you in the face. It's right in front of you. Look what the Jays are doing. Go do that. It's not that hard to figure out. You can't strike out 13 times when the opponent strikes out 4. Not good enough. And Shohei Ohtani needs to be more clutch. I'm sorry. You guys can be mad at me all you want for saying Shohei Ohtani, a meaningless 3 home run game in a rout of sort in game 4 when the Brewers were done. They had rolled up their shop and packed up their tent and they were heading home. Yes, it was amazing. 3 home runs, 10 Ks. So what? It was just fluff and show. It was not high leverage. It was very low leverage. So yeah, that kind of thing wakes people up and says, Shohei Ohtani has to be the MVP. Okay, fine. Yeah. if you look at that game and you spread it out over the series, he had a fantastic series, but it was all in one game, right? He had one other hit in that series. So what he did tonight is more emblematic of what he's been doing during this postseason, and he's got to be better. He has got to be better. Meaningless, low-leverage home runs do not do us any good. They do not get the job done. I'm turning as orange as my shirt. I got to stop. But I'm confident he will be better. Hear that, Ohtani lovers that think I'm a hater. I'm not. I'm not a hater. I just call it like I see it. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Yo lo siento. I think I said that right. Lo siento? Yeah, I'm sorry, right? It's a different kind of sorry, but I'm sorry. Anyway, yes, I know. I don't know why I started speaking Spanish. I'm talking about Ohtani. He's Japanese. Anyway, that's how twisted I am about all of this. So yeah, I am confident that Shohei Ohtani has it in him and is capable of being better than he was tonight. Yeah, he hit home runs. So what? Low leverage didn't matter. Big deal. Game was over at that point. Let's take that and put it into a better situation. Yes, Jeff, I fully agree. How about our pitchers don't give up 11? Right. Absolutely. The bullpen is a problem. But the good news is, so is theirs. Theirs was better tonight. Their bullpen is not much better, though, when you look at ERA compared to ours, right? So that's positive. It's pretty tit for tat. We as Dodger fans know that this bullpen is kind of always on shaky ground. And the fact that they weren't against the Brewers was merely the fact that the starters went so deep into the game. They only used 4 relievers, and it was Sasaki most of the time, who's been very tough to beat. So the fact was that they didn't need the relievers against the Brewers. They're going to need them against the Jays. And yes, Jeff, they have to be better. Got to be better in the bullpen. Got to be better. Yamamoto's got to come out and just sit them down and not give them any room to breathe. And the Dodger starters or the Dodger hitters have to get on the board early with more than 1 or 2 runs. Okay, it's you got to just pile on. That's what has to happen for this team. Yes, Ohtani did not give up 11 runs. You're right. I get it. And he's not the only one who wasn't clutch. So that's a fair point. Fair point. I need to call out some other people who weren't clutch today. Mookie Betts, he did have a hit. Freddie Freeman, 0 for. Will Smith was clutch. Teo wasn't clutch either. Max wasn't clutch. Kike had a hit and an RBI. Tommy Edman, a hit, no RBI. So, he wasn't just Shohei Ohtani. And he did have a couple of RBIs. So, again, meaningless though. But it wasn't just him. Across the board, runners in scoring position too frequently. Guys left out there too frequently. Too many missed opportunities early in the game. You can't come away with the bases loaded and fewer than 2 outs, and you only get 1 run out of it twice. And then you strike out 14 times. And then the bullpen is a gas can. So, yeah, a lot of bad things happened tonight, and that's good. Get it out of the way. Move it to the side. Turn the page. Got to be better tomorrow, boys. Let's do it. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Thank you guys for coming in and commenting and exercising the demons. We all feel a little bit better now that we got it off our chest, and we can go to sleep now and wake up. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is a new day. All right. That's the mantra. Turn the page. Tomorrow, game 2 is a new day. Again, first pitch a little after 5, and we'll be here to break it down when it is over. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. And of course, thank you as always for the comments. I am Pete Fox. Take care. Have a good night and go Dodgers.